Hello, Grand Rapids. Mayor Rosalind Bliss here, just wanting to provide a couple updates from this week. We had a busy week here at City Hall. And before we get into the updates, I just want to say a few comments. I've heard from so many of you who are struggling financially and emotionally during this really difficult time that we're experiencing. And one, I want to let you know that we feel the pain. I so wish there was more that I could do to help all of the residents here who are really struggling right now. For those of you who are home alone, if you are struggling emotionally, please reach out for help. We have a number of great organizations here in our community who are still available electronically to help you. So please call 211, or you can reach out to Forest View or to Pine Rest or to Network 180, Arbor Circle. All of those organizations are still working day in and day out to help people as they navigate through this crisis. So please reach out for help. Also, I've heard from folks who are struggling financially. Again, please call 211. There are resources available to help you. We want to make sure that even though you may physically be alone, you are not alone. There's a lot of community support available right now. We just need you to pick up the phone and call somebody. Another thing I want to remind folks that this is a complex problem, with it being a pandemic and a public health crisis. The city of Grand Rapids, all of the cities in our county, we are working really closely with the health department, who's the lead organization, to lead through a public health crisis. So folks have reached out to me and they've asked about where they can go for testing. They've asked me about the numbers in the city, the number of positive cases. Those questions I strongly encourage you to direct at the county and the county health department. And the county's done a really good job of trying to provide regular updates and information. In fact, just this past week, they updated their website that has the data and created a new dashboard that is really easy to navigate. So if you have access to the internet, I strongly encourage you to go to Access Kent/health, and you can find a whole host of data, dashboards, and information on that site. But again, this is a multi-jurisdictional issue, and we are working really closely with the county to support their efforts, but also to do our part here in the city. And with that, I'll turn it to our city manager so that he can share with you some of the updates from City Hall. We had our first City Commission meeting virtually on Tuesday, and we received a great update on some of our efforts around COVID, as well as our efforts in partnership with a lot of organizations in our city. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to echo what you said earlier. People wake up every day with a range of emotions, and they change day to day, from denial to acceptance to fear to anger, and we're all adjusting to this new reality. But rest assured that at the city, we are doing everything we can to make sure that we respond in a way that maintains the public health and safety and provides essential city services. And that is what we talked to the commission about this past week, giving them, first of all, an update on some of the routine matters that we need day to day to continue the business of the city, whether it is for resources for our employees or our operations. The city commission was able to take action on all of those matters. But most specifically, we did do a couple of things. We asked the commission to approve our ability to accept federal funding in response to the current pandemic. And we were awarded a combination of over $3 million from CDBG and community development block grants, as well as ESG funding. And we are in the process of putting together utilizing our internal recovery team to decide how best to allocate that funding. A portion of it will be, about $1 million of it will be focused on housing, sheltering, and rehousing. The other portion will be focused on community recovery and assisting in economic development. And so we did update the City Commission this past week, and we talked about our response. Our operations are continuing to be supportive of residents. The police department and fire department have mobilized, redeployed a homeless outreach team to assist the homeless community in creating more awareness and making sure that they maintain appropriate physical distancing and working with our homeless providers. But we also heard an update from our partners. From the Chamber and the Right Place as we talked about recovery and what that looks like. And we want to be very, very deliberate in maximizing all of the resources that we obtain either from the federal government, state government, or even locally from philanthropic contributions. The Right Place is in the process of administering the $1 million grant that we were allocated from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Unfortunately, that is a grant that will have to be spread among 11 counties, and Kent County is one of 11 counties, so it's very unlikely that we will get the majority of those grant proceeds within our county, and so we recognize there's a tremendous need for more resources. There are over 24,000 businesses in Kent County, and we are trying to gather as many resources as we possibly can to help as many businesses and not duplicate our assistance. So where one business gets help 6 times and there are 6 businesses who doesn't receive any help. And so we're working with the Right Place, the Chamber, with our community development grant application process to see if we can have a common application and build upon an application that's already existing with the Right Place process to make sure that we make it easy for all of our businesses and residents to get help. And if you need further information, we would invite you to go onto the city's website, but we also establish with our partners covidwm.org that also speaks about other resources that you can obtain in response to the pandemic. Mayor?
Thanks. You know, and I wanna also speak to some of the struggles people are having with staying home and this stay home, stay safe order. And I know that that is a challenge sometimes, especially we are all, social beings and creatures, and having relationships is really key. In fact, having a strong social network right now is essential in helping us get through this. So reach out with other ways to stay connected to the people that you care about. Pick up the phone, text messaging, virtual meetings, because I want to assure you that our social distancing is working. If you look at our numbers in Kent County and in our community, we are flattening that curve of cases because we are complying with the stay home, stay safe and order, and that we truly are keeping our distance from one another. So I know it's hard, but I'm going to encourage you to continue to do that, continue to do all of those precautions that we're all working to do every day, washing our hands and sanitizing and making sure that we have clean spaces. It really, really works. So please continue to do that. If you have a mask, I encourage you to wear that when you are out and about, especially if you are going into stores. Also, I want to touch on that we shifted, as I said, to virtual meetings. We had our very first one last Tuesday. Oh, yep, there's our city manager with his mask. And so we'll have our next city commission meeting will also be virtual. I want to make sure that you can still weigh in and give us your input and your comments. You can do that through emailing us. You can email my office. You can email your city commissioners directly. You can email our city clerk, and all of those comments will get to us. Also, we set up a way for people to call in and provide public comment. So again, I just encourage you to stay attuned to what we're doing and what we're voting on. We still have business to be done here at the city, and we're going to move forward on that. The city manager will be proposing the fiscal budget in just a couple weeks. Again, we want you to be aware of what's being proposed, but also have an opportunity to weigh in. Those are important decisions that we make here at City Hall, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard.
I also want to thank our frontline employees. Our first responders and our employees that are providing essential city services, as well as the medical providers. Thank you for your courage and your service. We very much appreciate you for making it possible for us to defeat this and prevent the spread of COVID. I do want to say regarding one of the topics we talked about in the last briefing was about the disaggregation of the spread of disease within a population. And there were over 300 cases in Kent County, almost 400. But what we've seen in our urban area is similar to what has been seen in large urban areas throughout the country, whether it be Detroit or New Orleans or Los Angeles, and where there is a disproportional outcome of the number of infected people among people of color, namely African Americans. And in Kent County, although African Americans are 10% of the population, the infection rate based on the latest statistics is about 20%. And what that tells us is a couple of things. Number one, there was already disproportionate health outcomes prior to COVID in terms of diabetes and asthma and cancer and heart disease. And all of those pre-existing conditions are only amplified with the onset of COVID-19. And so the same public health concerns that we had before around making sure people of color are aware of the things that they can do to prevent chronic and acute health issues are those same things that will help us with COVID. So as the mayor said earlier, please maintain social distancing. Please wash your hands. This is not a time to socialize in the neighborhood. And simple things such as just gathering for a game of cards or a game of dominoes may be simple on the surface, harmless on the surface, but touching common items like that also contribute to the spread of COVID. So please take the caution, adhere to the caution of our medical professionals, our health professionals, and maintain social distancing. And it is temporary. It is not going to be this way always. And we do feel very helpful. As the mayor said, we are making a difference. And you can see, even though there is a disproportionate outcome here in Kent County, it is not relatively not as bad as other communities, but we do not want to see the numbers get worse. So please follow the advice of the medical professionals.
Yeah. Thank you, City Manager. And, we are all very concerned about the disparate impact that we're seeing with COVID-19. And for me, it affirms the work that we're doing here at the city around racial equity, that work has been important over the last several years, and it is more important now than ever. Just a couple more things as we close here. Switching gears to just remind you about a few things. One, it's still really important that you fill out your census form if you haven't done that yet. In the city of Grand Rapids, we've had about a 54% response rate, so we have a ways to go. But I want to remind you, census data is so critical, and we're seeing that right now play out because a lot of the relief dollars, both at the federal government and the state government, it is based on census data. So that's part of the formula and how those dollars are allocated across the country. So please take 5 to 10 minutes and fill that out. You can go to my2020census.gov. A couple other things. I'll be doing, again, story time online on Saturday at 2:30. So if you have little ones at home, you are welcome to tune in, and I will read 2 stories. I've had lots of little Grand Rapidians join me every single Saturday over the last 3 weeks, and I get lots of sweet pictures and follow-ups afterwards. It's very heartwarming. And speaking of heartwarming, today there was a video and a Facebook page launched called Be the Bridge. And this is a way to really elevate and lift up Grand Rapids, lift up the beautiful acts of kindness that are happening all over our city, even during this really dark time. People are stepping up in big and small ways all over. And hopefully it's a way to not just lift your spirits, but it's to share those stories that maybe are going untold right now. So you can go on that page and you can post pictures and videos and stories. And again, that will be a space for us to capture a lot of the beautiful things happening throughout our community. Even though a lot of people are struggling, there's a lot of good, loving, compassionate things happening all over our community that I think all of us should be really proud of.
Be the bridge. Love local, stay GR strong.
That's right. In this together.